Okay, guys, we're here today with James Clingerman. Guys, today we're gonna share one story here that has happened in his life that James agreed that I think would help everybody because he had some accident happen in his life 20 years ago.
Yeah, about
20 years ago, that was the craziest thing I ever heard about, and Jiu-Jitsu helped him a lot to overcome what happened. So he's gonna share it here with us in 2001. You can keep going, James.
February is actually 2000.
2000.
I was going to my mother's house. My mom was out of town or whatever. So me and AJ were going over there. I had to work the next day. She didn't, and so we drove separately. And I'm sitting at a stoplight. Been sitting there a few seconds, and this car pulls up next to me, and it looked like somebody waved. And I'm real close to my house, so I didn't think anything of it. I looked over, assuming it was a neighbor, and there's this crazy guy in the passenger seat, and he's flipping me off, and he's cussing me out. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. I didn't pay any attention to him, and he's just yelling and screaming and just being crazy. And I kind of looked over again, and there was a female driving the car, and she leans up and she just gives me one of these, don't mess with them type thing. And so she pulls her car up enough that we don't really see each other. And I was like, okay, light will turn green, they'll drive off, it's fine. Well, the car pulls back, and when the car pulls back, I see the guy pull a gun out, and it's 9mm. I recognize the weapon, and I was like, oh, that's no good. And he goes, are you afraid of this? And in my head, I was like, yes, yes, I am definitely afraid of that. So I was just going to continue going straight, and I didn't even have time to hit the gas. Before my foot ever came off the brake, it felt like my head exploded. The guy had shot me. So I went through my window. I was wearing my seatbelt, and it knocked me into my passenger seat. So it broke the seatbelt retractor, the thing that stops you when you get in a car accident. Completely just ripped that out. And I'm laying there kind of in both seats, and I'm instantly blind. I'm deaf. Just this loud ringing in my ears. And my first thought was I could have other bullets whizzing by me. He could be shooting. He could be walking up on me.
So you were still being able to think that was happening.
Yeah, it was kind of I was like, man, I've been punched in kickboxing a couple times. That was a really hard punch, because I shook it off, and I was like, I had to function. So I literally just kept my head down. I hit the gas. I started driving, and I was just honking my horn, just completely blind. Just after driving for a minute, I kind of hit another car. So just a little bit. I clipped him a little bit. But once I did that, I felt like, okay, I've at least gotten someone's attention. That someone has to stop now. So I got out and I approached him, and I was like, hey, call 911. I've been shot. And it was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm bleeding to death. And I'm getting blood all over this poor guy's car. So I backed up, and I just kneeled down. And as soon as I kneeled down in the road, I remember looking up, and there was a sheriff's deputy walking toward me. And I said, some guy at that light just shot me in the face. I think I said, another word in there, but and he just he was kind of frozen. He goes, give me your ID and a couple of phone numbers to call. So I literally just grabbed my wallet and I threw it at him. And so I sat there for a minute. Another deputy got there. Ambulance got there pretty quick. But they cut all my clothes off down to my underwear, and threw me in the ambulance, took me to the hospital. I was in the hospital 3 days, so not long. But the bullet hit my cheekbone and drove straight in. That's the entry point. And then I actually have, there's two metal plates, and they kind of crisscross to reconstruct the cheekbone. I'm probably about 95+% blind in that eye, and I have a lot of issues with my left ear and stuff because of the impact and everything. Jiu-jitsu really kept me going. So I was shot February 20th, and I was assistant instructor when our academy opened 2 weeks later. So I was there on the mat when the academy opened. I couldn't train at all. I could barely walk. I was laying on the edge of the mat. Don't do that, But it gave me something to do, and it gave me a reason to get out of the house. And then once my health started getting better, it gave me goals. You know, I was like, okay, like here's my next goal. My next goal is to be able to roll, and then I want to be able to compete. And the doctor, they didn't want any pressure on my eye. They didn't want me to get choked. I wasn't supposed to lift or strain or anything like that. And like a Thursday evening, I went in and the doctor said, okay, you can get choked again. Friday morning, we got in the car, I drove to Tennessee, and I competed on Saturday.
I think this means more than winning any world title or anything like that. You know, like you won the toughest tournament. Thank you, James.
Awesome.
Yeah, guys, I want to share this story with you guys because I think it's gonna inspire a lot of you who are dealing with problems and practice jiu-jitsu. So I think jiu-jitsu can be a great tool to overcome anything you are dealing with. So this is a true story, I'm not making it. You can see on his face. So thank you, James, and all my respect. Thank you, appreciate it.